This is one of the oldest and most famous desserts in France. I've worked in some of the best restaurants in the world and for some of the best chefs in the world. I've lived and I've worked in France, and I've even eaten this dish at restaurant Paul Bocuse, 2 Michelin-star restaurant in Lyon. I'm here today to teach you how to make this beautiful Paris-Brest at home easily. You see them in pâtisseries and boulangeries all over France, which is on every street corner. I've made every mistake under the sun, and I'm here today to teach you how to cook like a chef. Let's get started. Basically, it's pâte de choux pastry, piped into a circle, filled with caramelized hazelnut mousseline that goes in the center. It's piped in the shape of a bicycle wheel. This dish was made for a very famous bicycle race from Paris to Brest in like the early 1900s. A famous French pastry chef developed this dessert to celebrate that race. And now you see it all over the country. It's super delicious. It's fun to make. It's one of my favorite French desserts. Let's get started. First thing we want to do is make our choux pastry. So I have a pan on here getting hot. I've got milk, and I've got water. 250 grams of water, 250 grams of milk going into a pot to boil. I've also got 10 grams of salt and 15 grams of sugar, and I've got 200 grams of unsalted butter. That's all got to go in the pan. Basically, it's got to boil. It's got to boil all together. The butter has to melt. We're making choux pastries. Choux pastry is basically water, milk, little seasoning, little butter. You put flour into it and you cook the flour out in the pan. Next thing, we need to put our flour in. We got 300 grams of AP flour, and that's gonna all go in at the same time. Now you wanna stir that, hydrate the flour, and make this thick paste, choux paste. Stir it, make sure you're stirring the bottom of the pan because it's gonna stick. You're gonna start to get a little bit of a film that forms on the bottom of the pan. That's fine. Just make sure you're scraping it off. What's really important in this step is that you're cooking out the flour. Almost like you're making a roux, you're cooking the flour out. Get yourself a wooden spoon. I don't have a wooden spoon, but get something that you can scrape the bottom of the pan with so that it doesn't stick. You want to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes. You want to really make sure you cook out all the rawness in that flour before you transfer it to the KitchenAid and whip your eggs in it. This is classic cooking. Choux pastry is something you learn in culinary school. It's very fundamental. This is how you make eclairs, profiteroles, cream puffs, cream pies. It's coming together. It's cooking. See the bottom of the pan? How the starch is cooking to it? Look, you just scrape it. Like I said, if you have a wooden spoon, it's even better. It's been cooking for about 2.5 minutes. The flour is cooked out, the starch is cooked out. All right, now what I want to do is pop it. See how it's starting to bunch together? That's kind of what you want. Go straight into your KitchenAid. Next step, whip your eggs into that flour base that you just made. Pop it up, get a paddle attachment on. So let's get this started. Start whipping it, add your eggs. This is what's very important. You wanna do this 1 egg at a time. 1 egg, incorporate, 1 egg, incorporate, 1 egg, incorporate. A lot of times pâte de choux recipes give you like a range of how much egg needs to go in. They'll normally say between 7 and 10, or a gram between 150 and 200 grams, because the starch reacts differently. What you're looking for is like this tacky texture, glossy, that comes off your fingers nicely. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. What you're doing here is you're really developing this glutinous structure. Think about this. You put flour into boiling liquid. That already changes the gluten structure of the flour. Like traditional bread, you don't have boiling water, boiling liquid, because it actually cooks the starch. It shocks the starch right away and it changes the property of it. Think about Japanese milk bread. A lot of Japanese breads are cooked that way. They're very soft. You shock the protein structure in the flour. You change the property of it a little bit. Then what you do is you put it in the mixer and you start adding eggs to it and whipping the eggs into it. The eggs, what they're gonna do is when they cook, it's giving it volume. They're gonna start to steam and rise, right? The egg's gonna leaven the dough. The butter enriches it. And all that gluten structure is gonna trap the air from the egg, and it's gonna give you this nice, beautiful, airy pâte de choux. When you cut inside of it, it's all hollow. And that's because of the structure you build in it. What you're looking for is this, basically. Kind of sticks to your fingers, right? Kind of glossy, runs down a little bit. That's where you wanna start. Get yourself a baking tray with a sheet of parchment. I got an upside down deli cup, and I'm gonna draw a circle around it with a blue Sharpie. It does not have to be blue. Take your Sharpie side, put it down. Now you have an outline of a circle. Get yourself 2 piping bags. You put the piping tip in one and you put the ingredient in the other. That way, if you run out, you need to basically reload. You have a reload one and a clean one with the tip in it. So what I like to do is take your piping tip, figure out sort of the size, how big you want it to be, because all piping tips come in different sizes. Start smaller because it's easier to make it bigger if you have to than make it smaller. If it's too big, the tip runs out of it, which you don't want. Piping tip, piping bag. Roll that bit down. Take your next one, open it up. That's your choux paste. Glossy, smooth. Cut this piping bag tip bigger than you cut that one. Give it a twist and put it right in. Now you're locked and loaded. You've got your circle and you just basically want to pipe around it, just like this. I'm gonna do one more along the outside and one more in the middle of the two to give it some height. That is now gonna go into a 375 degree oven. That's not on convect. That's just like a dead air bake. 375 degrees. I'm gonna set a 30-minute timer. We're gonna check it after that. Now that that's in the oven, the next step is we're gonna do our pastry cream. I got milk, I got sugar, I got egg yolk, cornstarch and flour, butter, vanilla pod, gelatin. This pastry cream is gonna be made a little bit thicker. We're gonna put some gelatin in it, hydrate the gelatin into some ice water, so I'm gonna do that right now. I got 4 sheets of gelatin, and the idea of that is I want that to set up in the fridge. I want it to give it some structure. I want to thicken it up a little bit because we're gonna mix praline into it, and inside that Paris-Brest, we don't want it to run out. We want it to really have some structure so it's nice and thick and almost like fudge. First step with the pastry cream, I'm gonna get my milk into the pan. 500 grams of whole milk. Take my vanilla pod, cut the vanilla pod in half down the middle, and just scrape the seeds. Put the whole pods in there as well to infuse. Our milk and vanilla is on infusing. You wanna whisk that in a little bit. Give it about 10 minutes. You wanna slowly bring it up to the simmer. You want that vanilla to sort of disperse in there. You want the pods to get warm and release all the rest of those vanilla beans out, and we're gonna pick those pods out right after that. We have a mixing bowl. We've got our gelatin blooming, 4 sheets of gelatin. Mixing bowl, we're gonna go 5 egg yolks in. Got 100 grams of sugar. Whisk that sugar into the egg. Call this blanching the egg. Sugar is gonna start to change the structure of the egg a little bit. Basically, we just wanna whisk that in fully, make sure it's fully dissolved. This is like creme anglaise, creme pâte base, except the difference is you're putting cornstarch and flour, and you're gonna use that starch to thicken the pastry cream. So you see the sugar turns that egg a little bit more pale. In here, I've got 40 grams of cornstarch and 30 grams of flour. That's gonna go straight into the egg, and we're gonna whisk that in. Now what this starch is gonna do is it's gonna protect the egg for when we cook it in the pan. With creme anglaise, it's just normally egg and sugar. And then you take that egg and sugar and you pop it back over a bain-marie, a double boiler, and you really gently cook it, and you protect the egg from direct heat. All right, but with creme pâte like this, putting that starch and that flour in there protects the egg to allow it to be able to go back onto direct heat. We've got our vanilla, it's been infusing. Take those vanilla pods out, they've done their job. Our milk's come up to a boil. Now watch, we're gonna take this and temper it into the eggs. You're gonna start with about a quarter and whisk it in. What you're doing is you're giving it a little bit of relief from that intense heat, tempering it in little by little, not doing too hot, too quick, protecting the egg. Now everything's in the bowl. Now that's gonna go back over the heat. It's really important that you cook this. You need to cook the starch. You need to cook the flour. You need to cook the cornstarch out so it thickens and you don't have this raw starch flavor in there. So you're gonna stir it. It's quite a good amount of flour and starch, so it's gonna thicken up significantly. If you taste it now, you're really gonna taste that raw starch, raw flour, raw cornstarch. You can see as it gets warmer, it thickens up. Remember when I first learned how to make this, I was working in Toronto, a restaurant called Auberge du Pommier. I was training for a Hawksworth scholarship competition, and the pastry chef Dom, shout out Dom, was helping me with my dessert. I had a creme pâte component on it, and I remember him sort of being my sensei, my creme pâte sensei. Don't be afraid of a little bit of heat with this too. Like I said, the starch is gonna protect the egg. It's really important that you cook out that starch. You do not wanna taste raw flour, raw cornstarch in here. See how much it thickens? Really coming together, really getting thick. That's what you want, a little bit longer. Flavor's delicious, sweet, tastes like vanilla. You give it another minute and cook out that starch, it's gonna be perfect. Smooth, look how much thicker that got. Completely different thing. Now what we wanna do is start adding butter into it. Butter is really gonna make it richer, smoother, more luxurious. The butter, you wanna go little by little. Don't go too much butter too quickly and split it. Whisk it in. That's 250 grams of butter. There's enough heat in the pan to melt it. You don't need to put it back on the heat. More butter. French cooking has lots of butter in it. It's the way it is. Get with it. Now, this is unsalted butter. That's very important. Now look how much richer, smoother, more luxurious that made that pastry cream. I'm gonna go in with the gelatin and just melt that gelatin over the heat into the pastry cream. Not too much heat because you don't want to cook out the gelatin, split the butter. Got our pastry cream. It's all together, it's smooth. Look at the consistency of it. A lot of butter, a lot of vanilla, sugar, milk, water. All right, a little bit of gelatin to thicken it together. It's nice, smooth. You don't want chunky pastry cream. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop it in the fridge and just let that gelatin set up. Let this cool down onto a plastic tray. I'm just gonna cover it with a little bit of cling film. Very important when you do this, you put the cling film directly on top pastry cream so it doesn't form a skin. Just like that in the fridge. We need to make our praline, hazelnut puree, essentially. First thing we want to do is get our hazelnuts onto a tray, get them in the oven, get them a little toasty. We got 300 grams of hazelnut here. We're gonna make our pan caramel. It's gonna be a dry caramel. We're gonna put a little bit of water into it just to help it. 200 grams of sugar, 60 grams of water. I do want the caramel to be dry. I want this to be like brittle, all right? I want it to snap around the hazelnuts. It shouldn't be like a loose caramel. It should make for a very dry caramel. The water is just gonna help it evenly cook. The water's gonna evaporate, and then what you're gonna have with is just a nice even caramel all the way around. Now, when you're working with hot sugar, be careful. Do not burn yourself. It's very hot. You're probably gonna go to the hospital. It's probably gonna ruin your day, maybe even ruin your week. Potentially even ruin your year. Got myself a baking tray with a silpat on top. Pour it out after once it's done. This caramel, you want like a nice amber color. Now, when you have that choux paste in the oven, guys, be careful. Try not to open the oven. Try not to fuck with the temperature, the timing. Really delicate, really needs the oven to be shut. Let that water and sugar boil. Give yourself a nice little caramel. Hazelnuts toasted. They've been in the oven for about 4 minutes. Our caramel's getting close. It's getting that dark color now, that caramel. Check it out. We're gonna put a pinch of salt in there. And we're gonna go in with our toasted hazelnuts. Now, very important you work quick here. You're gonna pour that out onto this tray. Just spread it out. Use the silpat to knock it down onto itself. Be careful. This will ruin your week. It is very, very hot. If one jumps out like that, do not touch it with your bare hands, whatever you do. I know it might be tempting to eat one. Do not eat one. Might be tempting to stick your finger in there and grab it and eat it. Looks so delicious. Don't do it. That caramel is gonna set hard around those hazelnuts. Gonna make them all stick together. See that? How beautiful? That's gonna set up together. As soon as it gets cool, it's gonna be hard. We're gonna be able to pick it up all in one piece. Then we're gonna blend it into a puree. Once we blend that into a puree, we're then gonna mix the creme pâte that we made earlier with this hazelnut praline. We're also gonna save some whole hazelnuts as garnish, put inside for texture, because it's really delicious. Now, our choux paste has been in the oven for about 25 minutes. I just put another 5-minute timer on. You do not wanna undercook pâte de choux. If you undercook pâte de choux, it'll collapse on you. It really needs to extend to the fullest. Start drying out that exterior crust, getting nice and crunchy. The inside should be completely hollow and fully cooked. If you take it out too soon, you're gonna ruin it. If you take it out too long, you're gonna ruin it. If you don't have enough egg in there, you're gonna ruin it. There's a lot of ways that you can ruin this. Pretty technical, but it's easy if you just watch this video. Choux paste's been in the oven for 40 minutes. We're gonna pull it out. Beautiful, guys. Look at that color. What you're looking for here really is the color. All right, it's nice, caramelized all the way around. All right, it's hollow on the inside. It's not gonna collapse on you. That's what you're looking for. It's raised significantly in size. We're just gonna set that aside, let it cool down a little bit. These have cooled down, all right, significantly. Now look, you can see how it all came together and formed a hard caramel. Now what we wanna do is blend that into a puree. Pop some of them out, take the ones along the outside. You wanna save some whole ones for texture. We're gonna put inside. The rest we're gonna pop into our blender. Could also use a food processor for this, it works really well. Whack this thing on, hopefully it doesn't explode. You really want a food processor for this job, not gonna lie to you guys. We've got our pastry cream that we made earlier, fully set up in the fridge. Look how thick it is. Into your KitchenAid bowl, our praline that we made, straight into the KitchenAid bowl. The flavor of this is delicious, caramelized hazelnuts. So good. Now we're gonna get this in our KitchenAid, whisk attachment on, and we're gonna whip it together. Use your spatula, scrape the sides. Now you really want to whip this so it becomes smooth and airy, and it's going to be nice and pipeable. That is so good. It is absolutely delicious. Next step, we're going to set up another piping bag. Remember how we did before? Beautiful pastry cream with our praline inside. Pop that in here. Pâte de choux, Paris-Brest, shaped like a wheel with a bicycle race. Cut it in half. Now, whenever you're cutting something like this in half, just turn it. Constantly turn it until you make your way through the center. Beautiful, light and airy. Take your mousseline. Take your hazelnuts, layer them in there. The last thing we want, little icing sugar on the top. That, ladies and gentlemen, is le Paris-Brest, one of my all-time favorite French desserts. Pâte de choux, made in a circle shape for a famous French bicycle race from Paris to Brest. Choux pastry, you have mousseline with praline inside, crispy hazelnuts. You have to try this dish. It is amazing. Follow me if you want pastry recipes broken simple and properly. Guys, thank you for watching. If you want more recipes like this, classic French desserts broken down simply, hit the like button, subscribe for more. This is so good. Oh my God. It's the perfect dessert.